Was the teenager who police say shot and killed 2 men during the unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin, acting in self-defense? Well, that's what his lawyer is claiming. But will that claim hold up in court?
Was the alleged vigilante charged with shooting 2 men to death during a night of chaos and protests in Kenosha, acting in self-defense? This young man was attacked. He was attacked with what was clearly lethal force. He had the right to defend himself. The lawyer for 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse was quoted as saying,
"They're going to claim self-defense here, and that Rittenhouse was just trying to defend himself."
Rittenhouse faces extradition from Illinois, where he was arrested after the shootings that shocked the nation. Inside Edition has obtained video of one of the slain protesters, Joseph Rosenbaum, who can be seen screaming at the line of armed civilians who say they were protecting businesses from potential looting. Later that night, Rosenbaum was shot, allegedly by Rittenhouse.
With a big story now, Turkey intercepts Greece's F16 fighter jets over the Mediterranean as tensions continue to escalate between the two NATO allies. Turkish Defense Ministry said that the aircraft prevented 6 Greek F-16 jets from entering an area where Ankara is conducting maritime activity. Meanwhile, Greek media reported that Turkish aircraft harassed the jets which were returning to their base. This comes as Greece began conducting a joint Air Force drill with the UAE in the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, Germany has said that the European Union should talk to Turkey while asserting its support to Greece.
Violence broke out in the Swedish city of Malmö on Friday after members of a far-right Danish party burnt a copy of the Quran. Earlier on Friday, the leader of the far-right Danish anti-immigration party, Hardline, Rasmus Paludan, was arrested near Malmö and banned from Sweden for 2 years before he could make it to a planned event in the city. An enraged Malmö tweeted that he was sent back and banned from Sweden for 2 years. However, rapists and murderers are always welcome. The rally went on anyway with Rasmus Paludan's supporters, during which a copy of the Islamic holy book was burnt. 3 arrests have been made in connection with the incident. At least 300 protesters then hit the streets, clashed with police, throwing stones at law enforcement personnel and burnt tires. The authorities stopped Paludan as they believed his behavior would pose a threat to society.
To the union buildings to take a stand against gender-based violence, racism and farm murders. They will lay white roses and crosses in front of the gates as a way to communicate their message.
Certainly here at the union buildings, where thousands of bikers have come from all parts of the country to come and unite against farm murders in the country, and of course take a stand against racism. Just to show you some of the activity that is taking place here. There you can see a whole wall that they have created, of course, with some of the placards and the messages here, trying to, of course, cement their message. There you can see Stop Plus Murder, Stop Farm Murders, crosses, roses, as a part of their, campaign and their action.
Hurricane Laura has killed at least 14 people across Louisiana and Texas, President Trump declaring it a major disaster. In the hardest hit town, the military has now moved in to help with the recovery mission.
As quickly as it hit, Laura left, but locals now face months of trying to fix the damage after it ripped through the Gulf Coast. The military has rolled in, cleaning up and guarding shops, authorities moving door to door with sniffer dogs to check homes. Around 40,000 residents will be homeless in Lake Charles alone. Louisiana's governor requesting a major disaster declaration from the president. And with hurricane season far from over, authorities are watching 2 more potential storms developing in the Atlantic Ocean.
Singapore is pushing hard to curb the second wave of the Wuhan virus, but there's a bigger headache for the country. It is facing the deadliest outbreak of another viral infection, dengue. And mosquitoes are proving to be more dangerous than the Wuhan virus. So Singapore has come up with an idea to fight mosquitoes with, guess what? More mosquitoes.
This jar contains lab-reared male mosquitoes. They are being released outside housing blocks in Singapore. For high-rise buildings, a 6-barreled mosquito launcher is used. These bacteria-carrying males fly off and mate with a wild female mosquito. The resulting eggs don't hatch.
Picturesque Strasbourg is the latest French city to make mask wearing in the street obligatory, along with its surrounding neighbourhoods and several other towns with a population of over 10,000 in the eastern region of Alsace, a measure local authorities were opposed to. But the World Health Organization recommends wearing them, along with other barrier gestures such as frequent hand washing. Alsace was especially hard hit by the coronavirus, with over 1,500 hospital deaths. The southwest city of Bordeaux will also be making face coverings obligatory in the city centre, with the Gironde region now classed as at risk.
We didn't know how we were going to.
In the shadow of history, thousands of people gathered at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial for what they called the Get Your Knee Off Our Necks March on Washington, a reference to George Floyd, a black man killed at the hands of a white police officer.
I have a dream.
The event comes on the 57th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech at the very same location, the oldest son of the civil rights icon, delivering a message for today.
In Belarus, President Alexander Lukashenko is trying to remain in power in the face of widespread demonstrations. On Friday, he addressed a group of state dairy workers, telling them that NATO forces were aggressively positioning themselves on the borders with Lithuania and Poland, a claim which NATO denies. Normally, Belarus relies on this port in Lithuania for its international trade. Now Lukashenko is saying he'll stop using it. Lithuania, meanwhile, is keen to impose smart sanctions. In the Belarusian capital, Minsk, protests by women have been at the forefront of the weeks of anti-Lukashenko demonstrations. Dozens of women gathered in Independence Square on Friday, even as riot police were detaining protesters.
Well, there was a protest here of a similar nature on August the 1st. No social distancing or mask wearing was respected, so the authorities here banned further marches. However, the demonstrators appealed it, and on Wednesday, the administrative court gave them the green light, going against the will of the local interior minister and the majority of politicians here. So the demonstration is taking place. The first pictures we're seeing on TV now show people jam-packed together like sardines, not wearing masks for the most part. And if preceding marches are anything to go by, they will be made of people who include anti-vaxxers, people who think the coronavirus does not exist, as well as members of the extreme right. And in that light, some flags from the imperial war era in Germany have been seen as well.